The name's Jessica Gonzalez. I was 25 years old at the time, and it was just one foolish dare that cost me something very deep to me. I was bored and decided to join some sachets truth or dare server that was rumored to be extremely dangerous, and I was playing truth or dare with some random stranger on a Discord server who dared me to visit a dark website called littlegirlpunishment.onion, or else he would use his hacking skills to install a virus on your device. The stranger went by the username of Messenger 574 and claimed that he was an associate of this site and worked for a prominent star of the site, a woman by the name of Lily. I foolishly took the dare, copied the link that Messenger 574 had sent me and loaded it on my Tor browser, which took me to a black screen with red text stating, "Thanks for signing up at Little Girl Punishment. You will soon be able to view our videos and will be sent a free video just for you staring our owner, but after that you'll have to pay." I simply thought that this was an edgy prank, and I made the decision of not telling my mother and the authorities about what I had just seen, a decision that would be the sole worst thing of my life. I was on a walk with my 15-year-old sister Emily at the park. My mom wanted me to take her outside on a walk for some fresh air, but told me no matter what, do never let Emily out of my sight. Emily told me, "I need the toilet, I have to pee so badly." I let Emily go to the park's bathroom by herself. Several minutes had passed and Emily had not left the bathroom, so I went into the bathroom and I noticed that the fourth stall of the bathroom to the far right corner of the bathroom was wide open. The fourth stall was next to the back door of the bathroom, which lead to a small parking garage that was normally reserved for janitors at night to pull up right at the bathroom and clean it while the park was closed. It was very odd that the back door was simply open, and I had a terrible feeling brewing in my gut, and when I took a look inside the fourth stall I noticed that Emily was missing. I immediately panicked and opened the other stall doors, but Emily was nowhere to be found. I realized that Emily had gone missing and I stormed out of the bathroom and run back to my home. While running back to my home I called 911 saying, "Help, holy shit, my sister has gone missing." When I came home I told my mother what happened, and at first she said, "What's with this fucked up prank?" But then I told her what happened and showed her the phone call I made to 911, and she immediately believed me and became just as panicked as I was. Half an hour later we heard police sirens, and the police pulled up on my home. The police questioned me everything and I told them everything that I knew. The police assumed that one of the park's janitors had pulled up to the park's bathroom and kidnapped Emily because the back door was open and I was standing by the bathroom and never saw anybody leave the bathroom. The rest of the day I locked myself up in my room while thinking about what could have happened to Emily. Suddenly at night I got an email in my computer from Messenger 574 saying, "Your first video is ready for you," with an attachment showing a link to littlegirlpunishment.onion. I climbed on the link and I was taken to a video of what looked body camera footage of someone pulling up to a small parking garage and opening a door in the parking garage that was labeled woman's restroom. The person opened the door and I recognized the restroom as the park's restroom where Emily disappeared. "No," I muttered. Standing in the middle of the bathroom was Emily, who was on her way to the fourth stall when the person in the video said in a soft woman's voice, "It's Lily, you're coming with me." Emily, the woman that proceeded to pull and at a stun gun lunging at Emily and shocking her unconscious before the footage cut to a live stream of a dimly lit red room that showed Emily dressed in an all-black dress, strapped to a rusty metal hospital bed with her wrists and ankles being restrained to the bed by metal restraints attached to the bed. To the left of Emily stood a woman in a zipped black leather jacket with black leather pants. The woman then spoke, "What's up, it's Lily here, and today our special guest Jessica Gonzalez is about to watch with us what I'm going to do to her sister Emily. First hair." Lily then proceeded to walk towards Lily before tugging at her hair. Emily screamed and cried in pain as Lily pulled her hair before Lily let go, leaving Emily sobbing in fear. Lily then said, "Second whip." Lily then walked out of the camera and came back into the camera with a whip in her hand and lashed the whip at Emily, making her loudly scream and sob. Lily then said, "Thirdly and lastly, breath." Lily walked out of the camera again and emerged back holding a tube-like device. Lily then slowly plunged the device into Emily as she sobbed and cried before her crying and sobbing become muffled when the device reached her mouth and despair hit me as it appeared as if the device was suffocating her. Lily then pulled the device out of Emily's mouth and Emily started breathing and gasping for breath. It looked like she had cried so hard that she had no tears left and her eyes were bloodshot red. Lily then said, "Hope you enjoyed Emily's punishment, bye bye." My computer then crashed and immediately I was consumed with despair by all the crying and sobbing of my sister, which completely destroyed me. I then reported what I saw to the police and they told me and my mother that the site I saw was run by an elusive group that was the subject of a high-profile investigation for committing and profiting off heinous abuse of girls and women, which operated by luring unsuspecting people on the internet via social media platforms and blackmailing they into entering the link to the site, which is laced with a malware that access the data of the user who clicks on the link and can acquire extremely sensitive information such as where they and their relatives live. The police told me that the kidnapped victims of this group are impossible to be rescued because whenever the authorities try to infiltrate the site is equipped with a firewall that only allows authorized visitors to access it, and it can detect whenever an unauthorized user is entering. This is the reason why the police have been unable to shut down the site. 10 years have passed now and I have no doubt that my sister's ordeal is still ongoing due to my poor decisions, and this has given me overwhelming guilt. Me and my mother have been in therapy for this past 10 years and I must warn you. Because aware of what sites and communities you're entering on social media do the internet, because they can be extremely dangerous, and if you happen to fall into the rabbit hole of little girl punishment. Onion then report the first red flag to the authorities immediately. It could guard the safety of your loved ones. One of those freaks scares me far more than any bear or shark could. I used to work at a prominent news station where we were sent this disturbing video. Here is what the video showed. A extremely controversial YouTuber known as Jack, who was once a respectable film critic but later became known for exploiting off all sorts of graphic and disturbing content, had a history of extreme controversy due to sadistically disrespecting and mocking victims of horrific tragedies, which lead to several lawsuits that he only won because he had the court on his payroll. However, Jack began to lose popularity due to his actions, which lead to him record his most infamous video, yet he leaned into the camera, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Prepare yourselves for some heavy shit." He pressed play, and the video began to roll. A dimly lit room smelled of damp and decay. A man with a paper bag over his head bound to a chair, his screams echoing off the cold walls as shadowy figures moved in, brandishing knives and power tools. The camera, steady on a tripod, captured every horrid detail. Jack narrated each thrust, each scream, each mutilation, each splatter of blood, and the violent death of the man in the paper bag, Jack's voice trembling with glee. "The views are climbing," he muttered, glancing at the live stats. "This is gonna be huge." The video ended abruptly, replaced by a black screen bearing red text. "What do you think?" Jack turned to face the camera, smirking. "Well, what do you think of our Mexican friend's handiwork?" he chuckled darkly. "Leave a comment if you think they went not far enough." He leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "And if any of you fucks share this outside my channel, I'll find you and make you eat your own fucking keyboard." He ended the stream, leaned back in his chair, and stretched. Time to cash in on all those views. But as he logged into his cryptocurrency wallet to check his earnings, an odd chime echoed through his house. His doorbell at this hour. Jack stood cautiously, grabbing his pocket knife from its spot on his desk. He tiptoed down the hall towards the front door. Looked through the peephole. 3 men stood outside, thick-set and dressed entirely in black. Their faces were obscured by ski masks, but their eyes, they glinted with a cold, hard shine that made Jack's blood run cold. "Who are you?" he called out nervously. "You talk too much, Jack," one of them replied softly in broken English with a thick Mexican accent. "Now, you pay." Before Jack could react, the door splintered inward, sending him crashing backwards. His knife skittered across the hardwood floor as they stormed in, grabbing him by the arms and hauling him upright. He kicked, fought, but it was no use. They dragged him towards his bedroom. "Please," he begged as they threw him onto the bed. "I won't talk about it again, I swear." One of them produced a roll of duct tape, securing Jack's limbs to the bed frame post-haste. Another man carried a music player and placed it on the floor before turning it on and playing the Mexican folk song, La Cucaracha. A third man unzipped a black bag, pulling out an array of tools that made Jack's heart leap into his throat. "Knives, saws, pliers, what are you going to do?" he gasped. The man with the bag looked up at him, grinning. "El Diablo sends his regards." They worked swiftly, efficiently. Knives flayed skin from muscle, power tools whirred through bone and sinew. Jack screamed himself hoarse as they dismembered him alive, tears streaming down his cheeks along with rivers of blood. Finally, after what felt like hours of agony, they stepped back from their work. Jack lay there panting, his body wrecked beyond recognition. But it wasn't over yet. One of them produced a small glass jar containing a large Madagascar hissing cockroach. It moved frantically inside the confines of its temporary prison. Meanwhile, the other man retrieved something else from the bag. It looked like. Yes, it was a machete. "What are you doing?" he croaked in horror. Without answering, the man slowly dismembered Jack limb to limb as he screamed in agony, blood splattering and staining the entire bedroom red. Every single limb of Jack was removed, including his head. They set to work once more, this time on the cockroach and Jack's severed head. The insect let out a piercing hiss as its head was cut off its body. Then, carefully, meticulously, they began the hideous task of grafting Jack's head onto the headless cockroach's still living body to replace its head, and grafting the cockroach's still living and hissing head onto Jack's torso to replace Jack's head. When it was done, when Jack's head was now connected to the body of the cockroach to replace its head, they placed Jack's remains into two separate boxes. One for his head, one for his torso. Now that you know this disturbing video, here is I how witnessed it with my very own eyes. Back at the news station, me and my fellow reporters casts uneasy glances in a USB stick titled La Cucaracha alongside at two large boxes addressed to us by an anonymous sender. We plugged in the USB stick and watched the entire dismemberment video, which was titled La Cucaracha.mp4, which left me puking in disgust the entire time, and we opened the two boxes cautiously and found ourselves staring at Jack's desecrated remains, his eyes still wide with horror. I instantly puked in disgust before fainting unconscious. Before I passed out, I heard someone gasp, "Jesus Christ, we've got to get DEA and put this on air." I woke up at the hospital in bed when I saw my phone next to me and it had a news alert saying, "Shocking dismemberment video surfaces. The El Diablo cartel claims responsibility, known for its use of extreme violence against its enemies." From what I know, DEA agents appeared at the news station I work at, and on live television they watched that disturbing dismemberment video, and after analyzing it determined that it was produced by the El Diablo cartel, who had sent its members to raid Jack's home. The DEA agents then collected the remains of Jack on live television, which are still kept by them to this day as evidence. I quit my job at that news station after this morbid incident happened to me. And so, La Cucaracha.mp4 was broadcasted worldwide, a chilling reminder of the dark web's true dangers and the price one paid for poking fun at the El Diablo cartel. I mean, even though Jack was a piece of shit, the manner of his death was extremely disturbing. This incident has left me with a really bad fear of cockroaches, even one. In the grimy underbelly of my bedroom desk at night, I'm face planted on the keyboard, fingers dancing with desperation. The classified ads hold no promise, and my debt is getting harder and harder to pay since I left my job. I'd take anything at this point. Desperate times call for well, I don't know what they call for. I'm about to find out. The dark web is a rabbit hole I've only peeked into, but it's surprisingly intuitive once you're in. I was sent a link to a site titled shadowwalker.onion via email from an anonymous sender promising to help me pay for my debt. Stumble upon an ad that makes my skin crawl, but the pay is obscene. I click on the link and see a white screen with a green button that says apply. I'm no fool, but I'm a mother with bills piling up like gravestones. I click apply, and a black box pops up. Why do you want to walk in the shadows? It asks. I type, because the light's too damn bright, and hit enter. The next morning inbox bleeps with a response. A video file attachment, no subject, no sender info. I double-click, and a woman dressed in all black materializes on my screen. She's in her 30s, blonde ponytail, blue eyes flat. She's standing in what looks like a basement, but it's what she's standing beside that makes my blood turn to ice. A small figure hunches in a chair, arms and ankles bound to the chair by metal restraints attached to the chair's armrest for the arms and legs for the ankles, and mouth gagged with duct tape. My daughter, Sophia. Hello, Amanda, the woman says, her voice cutting through my soul like a blade. I've got your little girl here. She's a feisty one. She touches and ruffles Sophia's hair, whose eyes are widened and filled with fear. If you want her back, you'll do exactly as I say. I'm screaming into the void of the webcam, but she doesn't react. She just smiles, a cold smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Your task is simple. I know you, you're former DEA, and you investigated the murder of Jack, that bitch-ass son of a prominent senator. That senator alongside some other politicians then decided to pursue the government into launching operations the El Diablo cartel, who I am an associate for. They tracked you down and want me to send you a list of subjects. Remove them, and Sophia will be returned, unharmed. She pauses, letting the implications sink in. Fail, and she suffers. The video call then ends. I'm on the kitchen floor, retching, when the document arrives. A list of names, locations, and photos. Strangers. Monsters, maybe. But they're people. Human beings. And I'm supposed to, I can't even think it. But Sophia's out there, frightened, alone. The first target is a politician visiting a university. He gives a speech in the auditorium of the university with dozens of guests. I stand outside of the university in the parking. I can't blow up hundreds of innocent people. But Sophia, I picture her tied to that chair, at the mercy of that woman. I grab a remote control to detonate the bomb I planted in the auditorium and set off the bomb, demolish the auditorium building and killing everyone in there. I then get into my car and drive away. The list grows shorter. Each name crossed off is a weight on my conscience, a chink in my sanity. I've become a most wanted criminal by the FBI. I use rope, explosives, firearms, knives, my bare hands. I smother, drown, bludgeon. Each death is a horror, but Lily's face, scared and terrified, keeps me going. The list is almost done. Just one left, Jack's father, that senator, and his surviving family, including his 3 innocent wife and children. I'm sick, dizzy with fear and guilt. I can't kill children. I won't. I'll turn myself in, let them lock me up. At least Sophia will be safe. She bolts when I turn to leave. I don't chase her. I won't chase her. I head home, defiant, ready to face whatever comes next. The senator is staying in a quiet mansion, kids' bikes cluttering the driveways. His house is dark, his wife asleep upstairs. I sit in my car, shaking, as dawn breaks. I can't do this. I won't. I turn the key, the engine choking to life. I'm leaving Sophia to face the consequences of my failure. My phone rings. The number's unknown. I answer, hands shaking. Hello, Amanda, the woman says. Sophia in the background, sobbing. Disappointed in your progress, let's motivate you. Sophia screams, a sound that tears my soul apart. Send the senator and his family to oblivion, or I send your daughter's innocence to oblivion. I'm out of the car, stumbling up the politician's driveway. His car, a red limousine, is parked in the drive. I grab a gardening rock from the flower bed, smash the driver's side window. The alarm blares, lights flicking on in the house. The politicans inside, gun in hand, shouting. I grab the garden hose, turn on the water, spray it at him. He slips on the wet porch, goes down hard. I'm on him, hands around his throat. His eyes meet mine, filled with terror, with questions. I squeeze, watch the life drain from him. I let him go, stand, vomit on the porch. The world's spinning, my head's pounding. I lift my phone, dial the number. The woman answers on the first ring. Finish it, she says. I hang up, drop the phone. I won't kill again after this. Sophia, forgive me. I love you. The explosion rips through the house, throwing me to the ground. Fire reaches for the sky, licking the lightning clouds. The stench of gasoline and burning flesh fills the air. I'm on my hands and knees, retching, as the fire trucks wail in the distance. They find me, lying on the ground, unresponsive. They take me to the hospital, strap me down, pump me full of drugs. I'm a vegetable, a husk. They'll never get anything out of me. Not even the truth. The text in my phone glows ominously in the sterile hospital room, a beacon of dread in the antiseptic gloom. Next task awaits. You blow up the senator and his entire family. Head to this address for a briefing. Now that this list has been, I stare at it, my reflection staring back, eyes hollow, cheeks gaunt. I'm a shadow, a specter haunting this place, held captive by my own mind. I suddenly regained my strength after a strange doctor came in and injected me with a syringe and told me to go jump out of my hospital room's window and hijackers an ambulance. I obeyed the strange doctor's instructions. I drove to the address and came across a rural home. I went inside the home and I saw a laptop open to a video call. I saw Sophia gagged and strapped to a metal chair, her terrified eyes filled with tears. She was with that woman standing beside her. The woman then said, "It seems you cashed in on your second chance, but you see, the El Diablo cartel has seen how easily you've killed hundreds of people and they want me to keep your daughter imprisoned indefinitely, and you on the other hand, well, you will make a useful weapon of El